The Jamie Dyer Show.
This is Jamie Dyer for Southwaves Radio. Today, I have two guests with me via the medium of telephone, Glenn Moore and Matt Stevens, also known as the Thunderbards as well, who are playing at the Brighton Comedia on the 20th of February, so not long to go at the time of this recording. Hello to you. For anyone who might not be familiar, what is the act all about?
Basically, we're a double act. I'm Glenn. This is Matthew right here. Hello. And what we do is we do very, very short, very quick sketches that we try and fill with as many jokes as we possibly can, and we try and make it as silly as possible. Like we love comedy that talks about important social and political issues and stuff like that, but we've just decided to be as stupid as possible, really.
Yeah, the avenue we've gone down is to try and stuff as many jokes as we physically can into one evening and see how it goes from there.
And is that mostly improvised, or is that stuff that's pre-planned?
No, we've written it all down. I find every time we deviate from a script, I usually go a little too off-piste, and then Matt gets angry, so we just got to leave it at that.
It all sounds quite fast and frantic. Does it get physically dangerous?
Only when it goes wrong, and that happens more than we'd perhaps like to happen.
Yeah, in fact, actually, one of the first tour dates we did started with me walking on stage, and I accidentally banged my head on a door frame as I walked onto the stage, and we managed to do about half the show before I said I needed to go to the hospital. And we had to postpone the following night, so that was disastrous. But other than that, the tour's very much back up and running, and I've started to sort of relearn sort of how to speak and what my relatives look like, and it's been fine now.
Obviously, if you managed to do half of the show before you really needed to go, then that's the mark of a performer. You're both quite prolific performers. For those who perhaps don't know, what else are you both doing?
I'm Matt. I am basically a sketch and improvisational comedian. So when I'm not looking after Glenn in A&E when he bumps his head, I tend to do improvisational comedy, so I tend to do that quite a lot around the world, gone to festivals in places like America and Europe and Sweden, France and Ireland, all those sort of places, and I do completely improvised shows, so it's quite fun to do a script sometimes when it works.
Yeah, me on the other hand, I do stand-up. I've never once been asked to perform outside of the UK, so I'm very much a domestic act, and I just perform stand-up essentially sort of every night of the week. I'm on tour myself at the moment with a comedian called Adam Hess, and we're a comedian the following month, so the tour there has been great fun so far as well.
Yeah, it must be quite a strain for you both to be able to kind of go between different acts, especially as it sounds like the Thunderbards show is quite energetic.
It is. It's odd. We don't obviously end up doing two different acts on the same night, except for very rarely. And the one time that did happen last year, we were previewing our show for the Edinburgh Festival. We went to Bristol, and we did a preview of our sketch show in the first half of an evening, and then Glenn previewed his own show in the second half of an evening, which must have been exhausting.
Yeah, and also it turned out the audience okay seeing an hour of me, but do not want to see 2 hours of me. So when it was, I was the second act of the evening, but the disappointment was palpable.
I can well imagine. Obviously, it's at the Comedia. Is it a family-friendly show, or is it something a little bit more adult-based?
It's not what I would call particularly adult. I'd say around 14 plus is the age we kind of...
Yeah, I'd say it would be the traditional movie 12 rating, not the 12A rating that was brought in where kids under the age of 12 could come in when accompanied by an adult. But I'd say 12 is sort of the standard we're sort of going for. I mean, it would be crazy if the entire room was just full of 12-year-olds. I think that would probably make a difficult performance. But I'd say 12 to 13 plus. Yeah.
Okay, that makes complete sense. Where else are you going on the tour? Because obviously you're going to Brighton. Where else are you going? And have you been to a lot of these venues on previous tours?
No, so this is our first tour. So this is our fourth show, but it's the first tour of it. So what we've decided to do is compile all the best stuff from all four shows. So for the most part, a lot of the venues, some of them are ones I've done stand-up in before, but a lot of them, like the Salford Lowry and stuff like that, are great venues that I've never been to before. And I think that will be really, really exciting for the tour. And we've got some odd dates, like we're going to Matt's old secondary school, which will be really strange.
That will be bizarre.
I think the weirder if it's me. Yeah. But it would. But we're very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, oddly, Comedia is, I think, the only venue on the tour that I've done a couple of times before, so it'll almost feel like going back to familiar place, really.
Yeah, we can't wait.
Yeah, you say that this is your 4th show. Have the other ones been at places like Edinburgh?
Yeah, but basically it's essentially our 4th Edinburgh Fringe show. So we did our first one 2013, and then went the 2 years after that. Took a break for a year where I did my first solo show on my own. And then came back last year, and so we just thought, well, why don't we... There's so much of this material, but especially the first year we went to the Fringe in 2013, when you're just starting out, you don't get as many audience numbers as for instance, we did last year. So we thought, well, why don't we just put some of the rest from there in as well, because they were only really seen by a few hundred people or so a few years ago, and so it'd be nicer to sort of be able to perform them again to a bigger audience. And it's quite strange, because a lot of these we wrote when we were at university. Some of it was like the first stuff we ever wrote, so it's really strange to revisit it, and sometimes you see a joke and you think, oh God, that's dated horribly, and other times you see a sketch and think, oh, that's really good. Why have we never done that? God, we've been wasting our time. We should have done this one.
I can well imagine, especially when you've got quite a large amount of material there. So what is the show called? Because it looks good written down, but I'm not going to attempt to say it.
Yeah, there's been quite tense debate about what it's called. Some people have offered Formed, and I think that's the general one. The other alternative is Second. It might be, because it's the number 4, and then a little ND, like you would get with the word second.
Yeah.
But we personally have no idea how to pronounce it.
Maybe it's Falconed. I don't know.
We haven't considered Falconed, and that sounds like an offensive term, but we're willing to use it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Glenn and Matt, I do wish you the best of luck with this show. Remember that they are playing at the Comedia on the 20th of February in Brighton with their show Falconed or Second or whatever it's called. All the best, and are tickets still available?
They are. I think there's about a dozen left.
There should still be some tickets left, so call the box office and they'll let you know.
So there we are. So rush along if you can. Thank you very much to you both for coming on today. It's been great to talk, and good luck for the tour.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
The Jamie Dyer Show.